we have a unique feature on this board where we can choose to set up mute groups, where we can mute sections of the channels at one time instead of the individual channels. So to do this, I'm going to unmute some channels so you can see the difference here. And then this is going to be controlled by this mute setup section here. If you hit setup, we have 4 different mute groups that you can make. So I'm going to make a mute group 1, and I am going to select channels 22 and 21 for that mute group. And then for mute group 2, I'm going to select channels 20 and 19. In mute group 3, I'm going to select channels 18 and 17. So now, when I come out of the setup, if I select mute group 1, it mutes channels 21 and 22, and then 2 and 3 mute their corresponding sections as well. Alright, so this board also has the ability to save shows from previous events or setups. To do this, up at the top left-hand corner of the touchscreen, there's a button called Show, and this will bring up a menu where you can choose to save your current show or load a previous show. So first, I would like to save a show, and I'm going to bring up a few channels and unmute them. And then to save the show, you simply hit Save As, and then it will give you the option to name it, and I'm just going to name ours Q. And then if you hit Apply, it will save that. And then you get to choose where you would like to save this. The board has its own internal memory, but you can also plug in a USB thumb drive and save it to that as well. I'm just going to save it to the internal memory of the board, and that is MMC on the screen. So now that I'm in here, I'm going to hit OK, and it will save the show. And it takes a little bit to do so. Now my show has been saved. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out everything I brought up, and then to load my show, you simply hit Load, and then you choose either your flash drive if you have one plugged in, or the internal memory. And since we saved the show Q, I'm going to select that and hit OK, and it'll ask me yes if I want to do that. Select yes, and then it will load the show that I have previously saved. And there we go. We do have a couple shows already saved on the board. One of them is zeroed, and that is basically our cleared show for the board. So after each event, you can select the zeroed and load that show, and it will zero out everything on the board for the next tech. Alright, so along with saving shows, you can actually save individual cues. So a time that you would use this is if you have a band playing and they have 3 different songs. You may have 3 different settings for that band, for each song, for example. So I'm going to make a couple different settings, and we're going to save cues for each of those different settings. So for the first one, I'm just going to have channels 21 and 22 up, and to store this, you simply hit Store, and it will save that setting. So then I'm going to change it to a different one and hit Store again, and then we'll make a third one real fast. We'll make it a little bit different. We're going to hit Store again. So now, if I cancel everything out, if you hit Cue List, it will bring up the 3 different settings that I saved. And they are automatically named, unnamed, snapshot, and then they'll be numbered. So I'm not, to name them, you simply click on them, and then you can edit cue and name them whatever you want to have them named. When you click on them, it will automatically recall them and bring them up. And then if you are running a show where you have the 3 different songs playing, when they're finished with the first song, you can simply hit Next, and it will bring up the next cue that you saved, and hit Next again, and it will bring up the next one. It's pretty simple. The copy-paste feature on this board allows you to copy certain settings from one channel and move them to another. To do so, you'll hit the copy-paste button on the touch screen, and that'll take you to this screen. It shows the different components from each channel, and they are color-coded, correspond with the components at the top of the board. The only differences that you will see is this first component, the white one, corresponds with all the channel information, so the mute and the fader for that channel. And then this top right one, that is yellow, it will correspond with the fader of the channel, and you can copy it to the fader of that channel on the bus. A little confusing, but that's what it does. To copy paste something, you have to have that component lit up or colored. So if I click them, they will go gray, meaning I will not copy paste that certain component. So currently all of the components are lit up, so if I copy paste this as it is, I will be copying everything for that certain channel. So to do this, you're going to hit paste hold for the channel you have selected, and then you will simply select the channel that you want to copy your information to, and that is all you have to do. Just as we can copy information from each individual channel to a separate channel, you can copy information from a bus to another bus. So when I select bus 3 and move channels up, I can copy all of this information to any other bus that I choose. So as you can see up here in the touch screen, the whole bus is lit up yellow, and I simply paste, hold, and select whichever bus I want to move that information to.